Welcome back to Silverstone. We're almost ready to go with the first Data Tag Extreme qualifying session of the season. Just about to get started, but before we do that, time to grab a quick word with Troy Corser, who is here at Silverstone this weekend. Troy, you're always busy. You seem to be one of the busiest guys in the British paddock. What are you up to this weekend?
Yeah, I'm here just helping out a few younger kids in the stock championship, but also helping Billy McConnell out, step onto the Kawasaki. Quite a big change for him, so yeah. Not so good conditions for him to be out there learning a bike, but it needs a bit of help. What
do you make of BSB this year? We was just chatting with the guys before, saying it's as competitive a lineup as ever, isn't it, once again this year? Yeah,
the depth of the talent out there is actually getting bigger and bigger. I think it's even a stronger year this year. It's you haven't got your normal 4 or 5 fast guys and then the next group. It's about 8 guys now, 9 guys that on the right day, on the right setup, I think they're going to be up the front. So it's, as always, a strong championship.
Early days, but who do you fancy for the title, Troy?
It's way too early to look at that, mate. But yeah, you got to obviously shaky. I think he's adjusted straight back onto the Ducati quite well. Yeah. But I think Eden as well. I think he might be a bit of a dark horse. He's impressed me last year on the Suzuki and got the BMW under him, so hopefully he might get a few results.
Cheers, Troy. Enjoy the weekend.
Cheers,
of course, we don't pay Troy to make predictions, but you two do get paid to make predictions. So I can force you guys into it a little bit. Who do you fancy, James?
I think I do think Haslam's going to go well this year. I think he's made that connection back, and there is some pressure on him to do well. But he's such a classy rider. Let's not forget he won the last round of the World Championship, as he spoke of it. But there's so much depth. I mean, if you're hanging your hat on one rider, it's early days, but I think he might just have the nose.
Me too. Tough one to call, but if I've got to put money on, it will be Leon.
Yeah, okay. Well, as you can probably hear, the bikes are getting fired up behind us now. Glenn Irwin right here, getting ready to get on that Ducati Panigale and get out for his first qualifying session in BSB. James Whittam, you can head off to the commentary box to join Jack Bernicle. Just a quick final thought from you, James. Obviously, it's wet now. This is a difficult circuit at the best of times. It's fast-flowing, it's wide, it's long. What's it like in the wet, and how difficult is it going to be for these guys to judge?
It's actually quite sort of patchy in places. You find the cars, they bottom out in a lot, they leave a little bit of alloy, so you get these really little slippy patches. So the guys have got to be careful. Also, with the temperature having dropped a bit, you've got to build up slow. You've got to try and force some heat in the tyres and get them working properly and just build into it. But, you know, it does dry quick as hit well as well here. The wind whisks across it, and we can already see the Glen is going out on slick, so we weren't sure whether it was going to be wet, but that is a slick front and rear. So the guys are really hoping to get out there and get a good time in, and maybe even some dark clouds, so maybe you think it's going to rain again, and now's the only opportunity.
I suppose it's a difficult balance between trying to be patient, trying to build up, but also you don't want to miss out on that top 18 that go through to Q2.
No, that's the critical thing. You know, you've got to put in a lap, so that is. But if it's patching up, everyone's going out on slick, so it shows that the guys know that the track's pretty good there.
Yep, okay, we shall find out very shortly, no doubt about that. James, thanks very much. Let's get into the action now then and join our commentary team for the first Data Tag qualifying extreme session of the season. James Whittam is alongside Jack Bernicle.
Bouncing with excitement here in the commentary room, because this is going to be one heck of a season. Troy Corser, what has he done to me? He's usurped my dark horse, Christian Iden, who I thought, when he got the Tyco BMW ride, having entertainingly told me that he thought Philip Neal was at first ringing him up to tell him he didn't need his services for 2016. By the time they'd blathered on the phone for half an hour, mainly about motocross and old stuff like that, he changed his mind and offered him a ride. And also, I think we probably have to keep an eye on Michael Laverty on the other Tyco BMW, who was at the top of his game at the end of last year. And what about this lad, Richard Cooper, on the build-based BMW? There are so many people out there who have been men who've scored rostrums and race wins. Number 14, Lee Bob Jackson, their teammate to and almost as small as Richard Cooper, teammate to him on the build-based BMW, following him through. And we've nudging somebody out of the way there at Stowe Corner at the end of the Hanger Straight, and the Kawasaki drops a genteel foot to let Cooper, Lee Jackson and the following Dan Linfoot on the Honda Racing Fireblade know that they can come through if they wish. So this is the first flying lap. Remember, the clock's ticking already. 30 riders out on track. That's how many people we've got here, because remember, we've lost Philip Backlund and Matic Smerts to injury, so they're not with us this weekend in a racing context. So 30 riders out there. They're the total 30 in the entry list, and 18 of them through the Q2.
Yep, and with each qualifying session, they're only allowed to use one set of tyres, so that only counts with slicks. If it rains or anywhere in between, they're allowed to use as many wets intermediates as they want, but they're not allowed to go and change tyres. They've got what they've got if they go out on slicks.
James, Richard Cooper has borrowed the Luke Stapleford patented method of going through left-handers with his right foot waving in the air. Oh, he looks almost overshot there at the end of the Wellington Straight into Brooklands, but he's definitely got the Stapleford technique off to a tree. So let's see how the Nottinghamshireman goes on there at the end of this lap. He's got teammate Jackson, looks to me to have closed the gap on him towards the end of this lap, and Linfoot hanging right in there on the back of the second build-based BMW as they cross the line now, and it's Jackson 2 minutes 9.8, Linfoot 2:10.2, Cooper 2:10.8, and Luke Bossy slips in behind him 2:9.6. And Jakob Smertz is there in 5th place, 6th for Michael Dunlop, though he's down on a 2 minute 12.2.
Yeah, conditions are weird. It is damp in places. I didn't actually get a good look at what people were going out on tyre-wise. Certainly safer to go out on with some cuts, maybe intermediate. Yeah, and that's definitely not a slick in
Alistair Seeley
the back of Alistair Seeley's, yeah.
The RAF BMW have exchanges, very entertaining bobble hat for a crash helmet, and the jockey-sized Seeley, who would not have looked remotely out of place amongst the Aintree jump jockeys who were visiting Alder Hay Hospital yesterday. They all sounded the same as him and were the same size.
Yeah. Actually, I quite liked his bobble hat. I'd like one of them for the next ski trip, yeah.
Makes him look about 6 inches taller for a start, and he is a wee fella, of course, the wee wizard, just 5'4" in total. So the Royal Air Force, you mentioned, James, beforehand, it was pointed out that Peter Hickman had gone well with this team of Lee Hardys last year, and remember, Hickey was on the podium here at Silverstone with a 3rd place in race 1 last season.
Really good team, it is. They know what they're doing, they're not new to the championship, they know how that BMW works now, and Honda's before the BMs.
And he crosses the line in 11th place, 2 minutes 13.8 then for Alistair Seeley, the former Supersport and National Superstock champion. And he did point out to you, James, in the conversation, how he'd been the bridesmaid and for the last 3 seasons, twice second in Supersport, and last year second in Superstock.
Yep. And it's Yuichi Kienara, her old friend who goes quickest.
2 minutes 8.6.
They're not mega times yet. Conditions are dictating these times, but certainly it's quicker than anybody else.
That's a decent time for Kienari, and he is the only man who's more successful than he in the history of British Superbikes. It is indeed Shaky Bird, number 67, on the B-Wiser Ducati. I know, of course, he'll have been surely encouraged by the results that Chaz Davies got at Motorland Aragon when he did the double last weekend in World Superbikes. Crosses the line, and Luke Bossy's gone quicker still, 2 minutes 7.9, the first sub 2 minute 8 second lap.
Yeah, that group of Cooper, Jackson and Linfoot went across the line, and now they're up into the 8, so time's creeping down as we go, I'd expect. People just feeling for conditions, really.
So at the moment the order's Mossy, Kienari, Cooper, Jackson, O'Halloran, Linfoot, Burns 7th ahead of Jakob Smertz, Leon Haslam and Michael Dunlop. And here's the much pained, after getting all the way through the winter time, fit, healthy, and raring to go on the WD-40 Kawasaki. Poor Jack Kennedy had his wrist cracked in an unfortunate incident when the bike jumped out of gear at Donington Park during testing. He got hit from the back by the luckless Jenny Tinmouth, and that spilled Kennedy and cracked his wrist.
He said Jenny was really lucky. Her leg got caught around the back, got dragged into the bike under the seat by the spinning rear wheel, and he said she's a strong lass because it was a big accident for her. She got up and kind of walked off unscathed.
Did you notice in the team photograph, though, she's taller than both Dan and Jason O'Halloran?
Yeah, everybody's taller than Jason O'Halloran, really. Well, not anybody over 12.
Number 77 is James Ellison on the JG Speedfit Kawasaki. We've just seen about half an hour ago Mark Smith Halverson, the team owner, his little lad, having his first race in the KTM Junior Cup, and unfortunately spilling off partway through the race.
He's going not so bad, though, for his
I
first
know,
ever
but
race.
we thought that this is one heck of a track to come to for your first race.
Yeah, that's a shock.
We're going to take you to the first ever Formula One Grand Prix racing track, and we're going to put you on a motorbike. Off you go.
It's not that, it's the speed. Even on the little bikes, you're going so fast for so long here. It's a bit of a culture shock if you haven't done any racing.
James Ellison crossing the line to 13.097. That puts him comfortably down in 16th place. At the moment, he's 16th, ahead of Vito Iannuzzo. Howie Mainwaring Smart has that last precious 18th place slot at the moment, ahead of Sam Hornsey and Stuart Easton on the ePayMe Yamaha run by Tommy Hill. An intense-looking former Supersport champion, Billy McConnell, who hasn't yet really set a time, so McConnell needs to get out there fairly soon.
The thing is, the track is dry and there's no more rain coming down. It will get better with the bikes going round, so people like Laverty, Hopkins, McConnell, Idden, fast people who's gone quick this weekend already are just waiting for a go. There's Michael Laverty. He's decided he's going to have a lash with 8.5 minutes left.
Gosh, you've got to be confident to leave it late on. It looked to me as if they were getting Billy's bike ready, didn't they? Notice he still had his Smith's BMW leathers, bless him, because it's a fairly late change, the FS3 Racing Kawasaki.
Yeah, well, actually, it's Darren Fry. We've seen lots of him in the tri-options. He's done Ducatis with a lot of success as well. He's now retired and running the team, the FS3 team. And they were, I think, Billy lost his ride and really was lucky to get that ride. They've got the PBM Kawasaki's that went so well in the championship with Shane Byrne aboard last year, but also I think they were lucky to get him. He's a good rider. It's been a sort of a good link-up, that has.
This is an entertaining little squabble going on, because Michael Laverty glancing across at his fellow Ulsterman Glenn Irwin, and in the midst with them is Lee Jackson. I don't know whether is Michael on it. He looks as if he was kind of looking over and then backing off, and then he's got his head down again and he's going for it.
Yeah, Buchan's gone quick. He's now Haslam's put a time in, so that's he was hovering on the edge of the sort of top 10 really. Haslam's now second.
So Buchan, Haslam, O'Halloran top three. Mossy drops to fourth ahead of Kianari and Jackson. Cooper seventh ahead of Dan Linfoot. Shaky Byrne ninth. James Foley putting in a time and moving into 10th place on bike number 71. Laverty goes 14th.
Ellison, that's Ellison. He's off.
Is he off, or has he had a problem?
He's definitely off. Look at his backside. Look, that's tarmac. That Jack. He's been up the road.
Now Ellison looked at James. He looked. Did you notice he had a couple of iffy moments when we had him on screen just a couple of minutes ago?
I'm just wondering whether a sort of damp patch has caught him out. I'm thinking maybe that late in the session he went out. He must have gone for drier tyres, maybe intermediate front and a slick rear, or slick both back and front.
And he's just dropped to 21st place.
That's it now. That's not good for the start of his championship. That he would see as a, you know, he's got to think he's got a good chance in the championship the way he went last year.
Vito Iannuzzo, former European Superstock champion, number 31, is on the Gearlink Kawasaki. He puts his hand up to indicate that he's not going to get in the way of another Kawasaki going through. This is Leon Haslam, number 91. Leon uses that number because it was the nearest he could get to his dad's number 19 that he regularly used, so he went for... I said, OK, so it wasn't the same reason Kurt Nickel gave, which was the smallest multiple number of 13 that he could get.
There's all sorts of weird ways they work out, and they all think it's lucky. Ron Haslam, in actual fact, used 19 a lot, but he used 9 a lot. There was a big blocky 9, like an American kind of...
Yes, he did.
Yeah.
That was in the days when numbers were very, very legible, James.
Yes.
I like that.
Yes.
Meanwhile, is it about time? It really is about time that we saw something of Christian Idden. This is John Hopkins, our first glimpse of the American former MotoGP star on the ePayMe Yamaha run by Tommy Hill.
Yeah, we've got 5 minutes left and he hasn't got a time in yet. He's been sitting in the garage watching conditions, watching times come down and then making a decision on what kind of rubber he needs on.
Christian Idden's gone 13th, so he's put a lap in. This is Hopkins, McConnell, Hickman, who was on the rostrum here last year, and Aaron Zanotti have so far not put laps in. So this is Hopper with less than 5 minutes to go the American, who's more excited at the prospect of racing this motorcycle this season than he has been, he says, for many a lot. In fact, he feels like this bike is more competitive than anything he's ever been on in a championship before.
And that might be true, but he's always upbeat, whatever. He always kind of does the sort of PR thing of, I can't wait to get going, this is brilliant, everything's fantastic, with a big smile.
Ducati. Well, now, of course, he's on Yamaha. John Hopkins on the E-Pay Me Yamaha. At the moment, Luke Mossey has once again gone to the top. So Mossey on the Quattro Plant Tech Care Kawasaki looking strong early on. O'Halloran's gone second. Very much a dark horse that some people are thinking he's going to qualify for the top 6 if he has an injury-free year.
Yeah, that's the key, because I rate him as a rider.
So O'Halloran's gone second, Buchan is third. Tommy Bridewell has leapt to 4th on the Bennett's Halsall Racing Suzuki, ahead of Haslam, Byrne, Cooper, Idden, now 8th, Kianari, Jackson. That's your top 10, with Glenn Irwin and Dan Linfoot next up. The 18th place man is still Wayne Waring Smart. Jenny Tinmouth just outside that precious top 18, but I've got a feeling that this might just nudge somebody out.
Hopkins goes 11th.
So John Hopkins in 11th place. His teammate Stuart Easton is 27th on 2 minutes 18, which doesn't look promising.
And you would expect the second lap, that was his first real flying lap out, you'd expect this lap of Hopkins to be quicker still.
So Hopkins number 21 at the moment. The man in 18th place is Michael Laverty. Best beware, because Mainwaring Smart's on 19th, Tinmouth 20th, Michael Dunlop. Here's Jenny Tinmouth, number 20.
Yeah,
and she's ahead of Michael Dunlop, TT star, Alistair Seeley, and Jack Kennedy.
It's a teammate O'Halloran, I think, behind her now.
He won't want to really interfere with Jenny's time unless he can.
You careful what you say.
Sorry, what I meant is no. I was just wondering, if he nudged past, would he be able to pull her on, or is he better off staying behind her and letting her sort out this lap for herself?
I think he's doing the latter there. I think he could have passed there. He might do some good. It's sometimes better to see someone in front in iffy conditions and, you know, have them prove there is a little bit of grip there.
Well, especially when you've got as fast as O'Halloran. Shaky Byrne has gone second quickest on the Be Wiser Ducati. The Paul Berg Motorsport Ducati goes second, 2 minutes 7.1. 3/10 behind Mossey. Jenny Tinmouth crosses the line now. She stays 20th with 2 minutes 10.2. So she's and the 18th place man, Mainwaring start is 2 minutes 9.6. Jenny's edging closer to this. She could yet make this happen. The 37-year-old from Ellesmere Port in Cheshire, right on the backs of the Mersey. Luke Mossey can just sit there and look cool as a cucumber.
He is quite cool. He is quite cool as a bloke, I think. Pale, but cool.
I'll have a portion of this. Here's Stuart Easton. And Easton is currently down in 21st place. He needs a time. Stuart Easton. And Easton is getting overtaken by Kuba Smertz, who also wants to get a time in on the Smith's BMW. So the surviving Smertz brother, the older of the two Smertz brothers, goes through the complex. And at the moment, where's Kuba? He's in 19th place, so he needs a time as well. Kuba Smertz, the leader of those two riders, is one place outside qualifying.
This is a good time, looking at the splits on the timing screen. I think this is going to be a reasonable time.
So, Jakob Smertz riding for the Smith's BMW team. He and his brother run a bike shop in the Czech Republic, but they leave it all, when they're both here, they're going to be both racing BSB this year, so they're leaving it to their old man. Kuba reckons he needs something to do. And there he is, 13th place. 13th place for him. That nudges Mainway now. Jack Kennedy's got into the drop zone behind Martin Jessup and James Rispoli. So Kennedy goes 19th. McConnell is 20th. Mainwaring Smart is 21st. Tinmouth 22nd. This is Vito Iannuzzo. I beg your pardon, this is Martin Jessup. This is Jessup, who's currently running in 18th place. Yeah. So on the Riders Motorcycles BMW. Martin Jessup. And he's the guy who's got to keep the pressure on, because he's the guy who'll hit the drop zone if anyone just edges in front of him and gets the better of him. The checkered flag's gone out, so people are now on their last desperate laps as Jessup comes swooping down. Now he's got, at the moment, his best time though is 2 minutes 9.0, so he's only a tenth of a second better than the pain-riddled Jack Kennedy.
He's had a good last sector, but I don't think this is going to be substantially better than he's done already.
And he's coming into Woodcote now. So as he comes creaming around, the huge right-hander at Woodcote takes the checkered flag. Jessup stays 18th. He's got the checkered flag. Is there anyone behind him who can improve? We're looking for Kennedy, McConnell, Mainwaring Smart, Sam Hornsey. Here's Alistair Seeley. He's safely through, I think. No, hang on. Where's Seeley's in 29th place? Oh, Alistair Seeley thinking that the iffy conditions would suit him, but in fact it's possibly dried out too much for the RAF BMW.
He's definitely on a personal best.
Target time 2 minutes 9.073 as Seeley howls out of the final turn. 2 minutes 7.79. He left it late, but the wee wizard got there. So we're now looking for, is there anyone else who's going to manage to make it across? Here's Billy McConnell, 2 minutes. Oh. No, 9 points.
McConnell stays 19th.
McConnell has stayed in 19th place. Jessup is now 20th. Rispoli is in 18th place.
I think that's it.
And it looks to me as if most
maybe. No.
Mainwaring Smart is here on the lap at Sam Hornsey. But at the moment it's looking like the 18th and last place may have been snatched by James Rispoli. And Jessup has lost out as the head shake there in the riders' motorcycles BMW camp. Alistair Seeley then, he snatched that from the jaws of potential defeat with a wicked final lap. His 2 minutes 7.799 was plenty good enough. So the guys who go out, Billy McConnell, who was late getting out on track, is in 19th place ahead of Martin Jessup, Jack Kennedy, Mainwaring Smart, Sam Hornsey. Jenny Tinmouth goes 25th ahead of Michael Dunlop, and then Zanotti, Easton and Ellison are the big losers, James, 28th and 30th.
Yeah, Ellison slid off really early on in his kind of run, having sat in the garage for most of the sessions.
That's surely got to be the risk.
That's the risk you take, yep.
And while we were looking at all that, this man has gone quickest, would you believe? The four-time champion, now back on Ducati, which was the motorcycle he won his first 2 championships with. Shaky Byrne goes quickest, 2 minutes 6.7, ahead of Luke Mossey and Michael Laverty. Glenn Irwin splendidly goes 4th, a half a second behind his teammate, ahead of Jason O'Halloran and Danny Buchan. Tommy Bridewell, Suzuki 7th, Leon Haslam and Peter Hickman 8th and 9th for JG Speedfit, ahead of Jakob Smertz. Seeley in 11th place ahead of Eden, Hopkins and Cooper. And the last guys to go through, Chianari, Lee Jackson, Dan Linfoot and impressively James Rispoli making the step up from Supersport. And these guys of course will have to start from where they are there. 21st on the grid, 22nd for Kennedy, Mainwaring Smart, Sam Hornsey, Sean Winfield in 24th, Jenny Tinmouth 25th ahead of Dunlop, Zanotti, Easton, Januzzo and the luckless Ellison.
Yeah, you said it, Jack, and he's here with us now, James Ellison. Thankfully, James, no injuries at this early stage of the season, but disappointed, I'm sure, not to go through to Q2 there. What happened with the crash?
Yeah, definitely. It's just a pride that's been injured, really. I mean, we found a really good setting this weekend. I know it was kind of wet in the first session today, but it was a drying track, wet tyres, but still you could feel the geometry of the bike was working a lot better, so we did find a big step. And ended the session quickest, and I've gone from hero to zero in about 2 hours. So a little bit frustrating, but you know, we went out there with intermediates on. We'd made a good plan for the session. We knew it was going to be a bit hit and miss, so we covered all areas. We had intermediates, slicks and wets. And then we went out with the inters on just because I knew there was still a few spots of rain in there, and it was playing into our favour at the start. And I could see it was kind of drying out, and a couple of people had passed on slicks and they were making that gap. So I was actually on my in-lap coming in to grab some slicks, but still wanting to keep some kind of pace because it's a very short session. And unfortunately just went into, I think it was Farm, whatever it is, just tipped into the left. There's a little bit of a bump there and it just folded. There was a few spots of rain on the corner at the time, but I thought the inters were enough to hold it. Obviously not. Just disappointed for the whole JG Speedfit Kawasaki team and everyone involved. You know, it's not the start of the season we wanted, but it is only qualifying and there's a race tomorrow. Regardless of where we're on the grid, I'm going to be fighting my backside off to get through it.
Yeah, so you've got a big ask tomorrow. What's the plan?
Yeah, just close my eyes, full gas, wait till the red lights nearly out, and then just hit the road. No, you know what it's like. It's always difficult to come from the back, but it has its plus sides. It also gets you a bit fired up as well, doesn't it? Keeps you on your toes. It is what it is. We've got to accept that. Very, very frustrated, disappointed in the crash. Obviously, it was totally my fault, but we'll pick up the pieces and do our thing.
Sure.
Cheers, James. Thanks very much. We should be looking out for James Ellison coming through the grid in the race tomorrow. Next up, though, Q2 is coming up after the break. For Q2, we shall be going from 18 down to 9 over the next 12 minutes in the company of James Whittam and Jack Bernicle.
Now down to 18 riders then in this, the most competitive British Superbike Championship we've really ever seen out on track. Jakob Smerts for the Smiths Racing Team on the Triumph, and Howie Mainwaring Smart, his teammate, one of the riders who trudges back to the pits having failed to make the cut and move through into that top 18. It's a fair system, but it can be a savage one, James.
Yeah, when conditions are like this, it can be, yeah.
So out on track here at the fabulous 3.66 mile circuit at Silverstone, that originally, of course, have opened up with the perimeter, the huge perimeter circuit right round the edge. This is number 24, Christian Idden on the Tyco BMW, fastest man during the only remotely dry session we had, which was yesterday afternoon, with a 2 minutes 6.61. And here's Shaky Byrne, the four-time champ, back on Ducati and the top of the timing sheets in qualifying 1.
Yeah, the bike, the Ducati looks absolutely superb with that BYZ colour scheme. They've done a really good job. You never just know this time of the season whether people are going to wheel a bike out that's been... some don't look right. That does look spot on.
Honda Racing, Jason O'Halloran and Dan Linfoot. Jason O'Halloran, who suffered that needless and desperately unfortunate injury at Thruxton just after he got himself 2 third-place finishes at Snetterton. Twice runner-up in the Superstock 1000cc Championship for Honda, of course. Although the man who was on his way to the Australian Supersport Championship back in 2007 when myself and Mr Whittam witnessed his debut in Europe when he deputised for Kevin Curtin in the World Supersport race at Brno and finished 12th, actually.
Yeah,
and that was it. That was what got him his toes into Europe.
I rate O'Halloran, I really do. He's had a little bit of bad luck in various classes, but his runner-up spots in Superstock Cow has been on a Fireblade, and everybody loves the blade. It's a brilliant bike, but it wasn't the bike to have when he made it look like it was. You know, he rode it really hard.
And he won a fair bit during the course of
he did.
Those. Of course, he's had victories at Donington, Snetterton and Brands GP during those years.
Yep, and my original mechanic, ex-rider Robert Butch Cartwright, was his mechanic in those and technician in those years.
And he's making this Honda move on, isn't he? He's opened up a little bit of a gap on his teammate during the course of this lap. Don't know whether Linfoot can drag it back under braking here.
He's a really, I call it a floaty rider. You'll see that when you get those sort of head-on shots, that there's a lot of the time when the back isn't following the front, and he just likes the way that works. He's a superb rider, good style as Jason.
He does. To be honest, that's the first time I've been properly aware of it just then, James. He does let the bike, it does look very light on its feet, so to speak.
He does, yeah, and he's a little fella. You know, he has to have the bike working with him because he ain't going to muscle it round. He's quite small.
And inevitably, of course, he did kick off back in 1999 as a dirt track racer, but unlike many of the Australians, he only did that for a year, and then he moved into junior road racing. So he's been a long time on tarmac, and as he crosses the line now, he goes on it. I beg Linfoot's pardon. He goes 4/10 quicker. Linfoot 2 minutes 6.3. Rispoli goes through on a 2:6.37. Chianari on a 2:6.5. Haslam 2:6.6. O'Halloran 2:6.7. And this is the barking B-Wiser Ducati, but the amiable Glenn Owen. You could see that he was a bit nervous when he was talking to you in pit lane, but he had every right to be wound up a bit about this, didn't he?
Most people in the paddock rate Glenn Irwin as a rider. He's a big lad physically, so he's going to suit the Superbike a little bit better. Quite aggressive. You need to tone that down a little bit for these. They don't really suffer fools that well if you know a Superbike. They will bite you. However, if he understands that he's got a couple of 3 seasons to show his best, and he doesn't try and win everything straight away, I'm fairly certain he's going to be quick. Is Glenn?
He's rattling it through the turns.
Yeah.
That's well, it looked a superb lap, but it's actually only a 2 minutes 7. Having said that, 2 minutes 7.6 isn't that far off.
Yeah,
but Luke Mossey's done a 2:57,
yeah,
which is a full 6/10 quicker than anybody else.
Yeah, Mossey's been quick all the way through practice in Spain, and then at both the sessions in the UK at Donington and here at Silverstone, and he's been quick this weekend as well. Luke's a talented lad. And fast. He's always been fast over one lap, and he's just generally fast. But he can qualify. He's a quick rider, is Luke.
Luke Mossey, who's really, injuries have been one of his greatest bugbears. Last year was one of the few seasons, in fact, the first season in about 4 that he hadn't suffered an injury at partway at some stage during the season.
Yeah, a couple of those haven't been his fault either. He's not given to leaping off when he doesn't need to as well. He's a good rider, is Luke. And a good bloke as well, really brilliant to interview, because he's kind of a southern geezer, Essex boy, and he's just yeah, he's a good lad.
His last lap was at that 2 minutes 5.786. I don't know whether he's going to edge in and make this one a bit quicker, but he's certainly looking absolutely comfortable.
To put it in perspective, that's as quick as anybody's been over the whole weekend in all 3 classes, in all 3 sessions we've had so far. But conditions haven't been perfect, I have to say. We haven't had brilliant conditions yet.
And he likes, James, he likes fast tracks. I mean, his two maiden rostrums last year, his 2 third places, Thruxton and Assen. Yeah. He likes big, open, fast places.
He's very brave as what he is.
So Luke Mossey then, with that 2 minutes 5.786 already in the bag. Look, sunshine is back. We had lovely sunshine earlier today, and it's finally making a bleak return as he scorches across the line. 2 minutes 6.135 is still about the 4th quickest lap anyway. Byrne is 2nd, Linfoot 3rd, Halloran in 4th on a 2 minutes 60. So the times have really tightened up. Laverty 2 minutes 6.1, Haslam 2:6.3. Leon Haslam, number 91, the pocket rocket, currently in 6th place, 2 minutes 6.326, his best time, about 6/10 off a potential pole. We
chatted with Leon. I see Leon quite a bit over the winter anyway, because we trials ride a little bit, cycle a little bit. He's a really good mate of mine, but I definitely could sense the pressure down there when we talked to him in pit lane of coming back to Britain, and there can be no grace time for him. He knows the circuits, he can ride a motorbike, and he's got the talent, so he knows he's got to perform.
And you put it to him straight, Mr. Whittam, I have to say.
And that's when I knew that he was saying, well, we're going to take it a step at a time, and we're just going to ease into this meeting, and that's how, ooh, he's nervous. Good rider. He's possibly my tip for the championship.
So the former world superbike runner-up then, Leon.
He's trying. And tell you what,
he is, isn't he?
You can tell with Leon, it's not his leg. Don't look for that leg trying to change gear. He always does that. It's his head. It's his head. It's how quick his head pops up and moves around.
Leon Haslam then comes around the final complex, and he's absolutely gunning the JG Speedfit Kawasaki through Woodcut. Final turn, and he remains 6, 2 minutes 6.303. That's his best time, but it's still about 6/10 shy of Luke Mossey on a similar bike. So in improving conditions then, checking out Tommy Bridewell.
Sneaks up to 13th, but it's not good enough.
So Tommy Bridewell needs a bit more from the Bennett Suzuki. Remember, only the top 9 go through this year, and right now the guys not through. His teammate Kianari in 10th, ahead of Lee Jackson, and then Danny Buchan, Tommy Bridewell 13th, ahead of Smertz, Cooper, Irwin, Seeley, Hickman, as the Halsall team keeps a keen eye on what's happening out on track.
Martin Halsall and his family, they're all down today. The family come to about 2 or 3 meetings a year, and this is the fancy coming to the first one.
Well, who wouldn't, especially as it's at Silverstone. It's Silverstone, it's the beautiful, open, fast international circuit, and we have a proper commentary booth as well.
Although it looks like the sun is beating down, it is in certain areas of the circuit, but actually, with it being spread out, it's very possible to get rain on one side and sun on the other, and that's exactly what we've got. We've got drops of rain in sector 3, so later on in the lap. Not brilliant conditions as a rider, these is. You know you've got to get the best, but
you can't. No one can do anything about coming in now, James. 2 minutes left.
No.
You've got to win it or bin it at this point.
Yep.
So Tommy Bridewell out on what will be his penultimate lap then. His next lap will be the all-out lap to see if he can get himself up into the top 9. At the moment, Mossy heads it ahead of Shaky Byrne by 0.2 of a second. O'Halloran in 3rd, Linfoot, the two Hondas looking strong, Laverty in 5th, Haslam in 6th ahead of James Rispoli. Now Rispoli's impressing me. I didn't expect this from the Floridian. 8th place, John Hopkins, his fellow American. 9th, Christian Idden's 9th, but only by 0.03 of a second from Yuichi Kianari on the second of the Bennett Suzukis. So there's a little bit of dicing and jigging to go on yet for those top 9 places. So Kianari in 10th, James, is the nearest one to get it. Oh, but look at that, he's only 0.03 ahead of Lee Bob Jackson on the number 14 build-based BMW.
I can't understand this.
No, he's too late.
There's nothing he can do. This is Kyo.
Teammate Yuichi Kianari, a man who, of course, has ridden 217 British Superbike races, won 50 of them, and 18 times beyond pole position, and 3 times, of course, he's been the British Superbike champion, but he sank to a career low 20th last year. We thought we may have seen the last of him, but Bennett Suzuki have enticed him back.
Nice of you to say. Speak highly of the boy. Nice fellow though is Yuichi Kianari. You can't dislike him. He's just the nicest man.
He's just what is commonly known as an enigma, James.
Complete, yeah, complete. We know he's got the talent, we know he's got the speed. It just only surfaces once every blue moon these days.
Well, this could be one of those blue moons as he goes hammering round.
Now, this isn't going to be any quicker, I don't think.
Isn't it?
No, I think it is. They're getting spots of rain on the visor towards the end of the lap, and that's not brilliant if you wanted to stick your neck out. Wherever you think, it does affect how quick it goes.
Oh, absolutely beautiful. They say that this Suzuki is the sweetest handling of machines, the GSX R1000, and certainly Kyo's making it look that way at the moment. He's got that excruciating 0.03 of a second to make up on Christian Idden if he's to go through. John Hopkins has taken the checkered flag in 8th place, so he's the first man to finish his session. Kianari then dives down into Brooklands. This is the sharp left-hander at Brooklands, 65 mile an hour in second gear, and then he immediately swaps it left, the 60 mile an hour second gear left-hander at Luffield, and then you open out into the massive 4th gear right-hander at Woodcote that barrels you onto the start and finish straight. This is the point at which we find out if he's managed to best 2 minutes 6.525, and he's not done. 2 minutes 7.043, accurately called by Mr Whittam. And that means that if there's anyone still out there, Danny Buchan is still out there on the Moto Rapido Lloyd's British Ducati, but I don't think he's going for a fast time. There he is.
I don't think anybody is, because there is spots of rain, and that's got to affect what you do.
So that would mean that means that our first pole man of the year is going to come for a selection of Mossy, Haslam, Byrne, O'Halloran, Linfoot, Laverty, Rispoli, Hopkins, Idden. Out will go Kianari, Jackson, although only just, Buchan, Bridewell, lapman number 96, Jakob Smertz, Cooper, Hickman, Irwin and Alistair Seeley. That's the top 18, 9 of whom go through. So the Smiths BMW will start from 14th place on the grid. But Luke Mossy, well, look at that. He's just, well, I don't think pressure's a word that's ever been invented with this lad. He just likes being out there and
in actual
capering round.
The surface of him is quite cocky and kind of in your face, but he's quite a softy, really.
So Luke Mossy, 2 minutes 5.786 is fastest, and if you like, on provisional pole with the Quattro Plant Tech Care Kawasaki, he just has to do it once again. Leon Haslam and Shane Byrne, 2nd and 3rd. A second row right now would comprise O'Halloran, Linfoot and Laverty. A third row, Rispoli, Hopkins and Idden. And then the guys who haven't got a chance to go through into Q3, headed by Yuichi Kianari, so near there. You can see how close on the Bennett Suzuki. Lee Jackson also very close for build-based BMW, and he's ahead of Danny Buchan. They will be on row 4, and then the next row will be Tommy Bridewell, Cooper Smertz and Richard Cooper, and the row behind them will comprise Peter Hickman, Glenn Irwin and Alistair Seeley. So they are the guys who've been eliminated. But for Luke Skywalker Mossey, well, all you can say that the lad who's been second overall in the Superstock 600 Championship back in the day, he's been the Catalan 125 champion in 2007 when he was a kid. Before, strange enough, he took a year out, and that's where you kind of wonder what was going on there then, because he's certainly come back with some pronounced success.
Had some cracking rides in European Stock 6, had a couple of sort of wild cards in there, did really well. One of them here.
And won.
Yeah, brilliant ride he had on that. And always been quick. And didn't put too much effort into putting those times in just now, you know. Spent most of the time sat in the garage with his hat on.
Didn't look it.
No.
But when you remember that, you see, 210, he won as a wild card here in the European Superstock 600. And then the following year, broke his arm when he was racing British Supersport. After that, broke his ankle, and then he was injured for half the season in 2013. So really, you've got to say that it's only in the last couple of seasons that he's had a clean bill of health.
Yep.
Yeah, some performance that. Luke Mossey and also James Rispoli, James, in that session. Last year's Rookie of the Year and a rookie for 2016 as well, really impressive.
Yeah, I mean, firstly, Mossey just looks so good in the bike. He impressed us last year. You know, I spoke to him earlier, he said the new bike is just a little bit better in every area, feels really comfortable on it. They've done a great job, and, you know, what a lap from him. Then Rispoli, 7th. I mean, that is unbelievable on the Anvil Yamaha. He really has. He got his head down. It's a great lap from him. The top 15 separated by 1 second.
Yeah, so nice and tight for the racing tomorrow.
Really tight.
And we go to final Q3 now, the top 9 as well. I guess for Mossey and Rispoli, it's kind of job done now. They can just kind of pressures off, go out there and do what they can. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the important thing is being on the front 2 rows. So the top 8, it sounds silly, but you don't want to be 9th. That top 8, the front 2 rows, always, if you're on the front, well, actually, of course, top
it's
6
now, isn't it?
Yeah, top 6.
Yeah, sorry, top 6. So the top 6 really is what they'll be going for.
Yeah. Okay, we shall see. We'll look forward to that then. Q3 is coming up next when the top 3 rows will be decided here for tomorrow's opening 2 races at Silverstone.
Out on track as we head for this final session, and of course, in given ideal conditions, this would be the old World Superbike SuperPole session where each rider would go out for one individual lap. But this is the guy who's really startled us. This is the absolute rookie. It's his first meeting as a British Superbike rider. Finished 5th in the British Super Sport Championship last year. Never actually achieved victory, remember. He had 2nd places here at Silverstone twice, at Aston, at Alton Park, at Snetterton. But James Rispoli, the rocket from Ormond Beach, Florida, never actually achieved a race win.
Always ran up front, though.
He came close.
Not short of confidence, as you'd expect, and always said he would be able to ride a superbike.
Dan Linfoot sitting very calmly in his garage there with team boss Javier Beltran. And they've got a technical issue with the Fireblade, and it turns out that Dan Linfoot is not going to be taking part in Q3. That's a huge disappointment for the North Yorkshireman, but, well, he's taking that with his customary, well, goodish humour.
I'll tell you what, he's a little bit upset, and that is not like Dan. Dan is the mildest-mannered man in the world. He's a little bit upset. You would be.
That must be frustrating.
Absolutely. He's done a lot of hard work to get where he is.
And James,
into this session.
What about the other James? Rispoli, the Anvil Higher Tag Racing Yamaha, Mr Winfield's team, have certainly sorted out this R1.
But I mean, he's new. They're new to the championship. There's Rispoli, brand new to the championship, and with a bike they've never run before. So that's fair effort.
And also, this is a guy. Remember, he was really big in half-mile dirt tracks and stuff up until about 2009, before he went into the AMA Pro Supersport Championship. He was a relative late comer into tarmac racing.
He was, yeah. A lot of the Americans were like that. They spent a lot of time on dirt track.
So James Rispoli already trying to get a lap time in as he goes through the fabulous complex that takes you through Maggots, Beckett's and Chapel and out onto the Hanger Straight. And we're hearing that Dan Linfoot's technical issue is to do with overheating, James, which is an odd one.
Well, it isn't on a day where everybody's got the flipping coats on. It's really, really cold today.
And you can see it's John Hopkins, 2 Americans together there in picture, both on R1 Yamahas. The ePay Me blue Yamaha of Hopkins leading the yellow and black version of that man, James Rispoli. So Rispoli, who, not entirely surprisingly for a young man from Florida, likes his surfing as well as his cycling and his motocross. Rode last year, of course, for the Team Traction Control Yamaha squad in British Supersport.
The best post-race interviews in the paddock.
He looks comfortable.
He doesn't look good, doesn't he? Look good on that bike.
And I really thought that, I truly thought that James Rispoli had chosen the kind of year out of hell to move into superbikes,
yeah.
but really, he's looking impressive.
But you never look at it that way as a rider. You're always confident. You think, well, you know, I want to be there. If it's a tough year, that's better. You can talk yourself into it being a good thing.
We're looking to see what we've got some problems with getting timing graphics on screen with you back home. We apologise for that, and we'll try and give you some idea. Oh, Jason O'Halloran just put in a 2 minutes 5.978. So the surviving Fireblade from Honda Racing, Honda UK, has gone quickest ahead of. Now we're looking to see what Rispoli can do. We've got Hopkins ahead of him. So Hopkins and Rispoli looking to match that time. O'Halloran goes through in a 2 minutes 5.97. That's just a hundredth of a second slower than Luke Mossey. This is Rispoli. Hopkins does a 2 minutes 6.13 to go third. And as he crosses the line, Rispoli 2 minutes 6.9. So precisely 1 second adrift of Luke Mossey. The new potential rookie on the block then is the Yamaha ridden by Rispoli. This is Shaky Byrne.
The impressive thing for me is the way Mossey is able to go out and stick a time in let's be honest, quite iffy conditions. You're coming back now, it is drying out, they're all out there on slicks. But he just can do it when he wants. And it's his first flying lap, typically, as quick as he needs.
Meanwhile, this fella, the vastly experienced Shaky Byrne, remember 17 rostrums last year, 23 rostrums the year before when he was champion. Even when he's not champion, he gets he got 21 rostrums when he lost out by the thickness of a snake's skin to Alex Lowe's back in 2013. So Shaky Byrne goes third.
Haslam quickest.
Haslam's quickest, 2.5.5, 2.5.76 for Idden, 2.5.82 for Shaky Byrne. Mossey drops to fourth, 2 minutes 5.9. This is him, number 12 on the Quattro Plant Tech Care Kawasaki. O'Halloran's dropped to fifth, 2 minutes 5.9. Hopkins in sixth place. Laverty, seventh, 2 minutes 6.4. And that puts him about a half second ahead of Rispoli in eighth. And of course, they're the only guys going out on track. No chance of Dan Linfoot being out there. And once again, Mossey just looking, he's never looked remotely. There's a lot of ripples developed around Silverstone, aren't they, under braking?
I was just going to say, it looks bumpy. I rode the place last year, and obviously not at this pace. However, it didn't seem as bumpy as what it looks now.
So as he goes off through the fabulous Woodcut corner up to 135, 140 miles an hour across the finishing line. Not quick enough. Mossey stays in fifth place with that 2 minutes 5.96. But you know, 4/10 covering the top 5 riders right now. This is Leon Haslam. He's currently fastest. Is he going to hit pole position with his first reappearance in the British Superbike Championship after a lengthy absence?
First half of that lap, the lap is just on what's quicker than his fastest lap in sectors, but he's dropped off a little bit.
Leon Haslam was, remember this guy on a GSE Ducati, finished fourth in 2005 in British Superbikes. He was second in 2006 to his teammate Gregorio Lavia, third still with Airways Ducati in 2007, and then second again behind Shaky Byrne in 2008. He's got a lot to prove. He wants that championship after those 4 near misses. Oh, look at the style of the man out of that final bend. He's 2 minutes 5.59. That was 900ths off his best lap so far. So it's not just a one-off, James. He's doing them consistently.
Yep.
Here's Shaky Byrne, crosses the line, remains in fourth place, just off that front row. But as James Hayden was saying, what these guys are looking for, JW, is the front 2 rows.
Yeah, O'Halloran slots into second now. Good lap from Jason.
2 minutes 5.71. That's 100th of a second quicker than Christian Idden on the Tyco BMW. Here's Idden. This is the Tyco BMW of another guy who I rate highly.
Yeah.
turned 31 in January, folks, which in one sense makes him sound like a veteran, but then you check out that he didn't actually start road racing until 2010. So, you know, he was a very, very late comer after a career spent in motocross and in World Super Motard racing. So this is Christian Idden putting it on the line with Tyco BMW. A man from Little Hayfield in Derbyshire, whose father was once a Suzuki teammate of... Oh, a big, big moment as he comes slewing through the big left-hander.
He won't mind that.
Oh, won't he?
No,
Okay.
he likes it a bit loose. Super Motard experience there.
That looked a bit looser than I would
To be
want to
fair,
see
yes, it did, yeah.
And that was going through farm, which is like 120 miles an hour, James. You don't want to be unseated there, really, do you?
Ellison slid off there in a couple of sessions ago.
So coming down the Wellington straight now, Christian Idden currently on a 2-minute 5.727. I don't think he's doing enough to get himself underneath that time at the moment. They would still possibly be on the front row of the grid. He's got about, it's exactly 100th of a second. I beg your pardon, the 10th of a second separates him from Shaky Byrne. Christian Idden once again, drift. Ooh, Christian, please don't scare me. Crosses the line, remains third with a 2-minute 6.2. So it's not, things aren't getting any quicker here for the guy. So Idden then remains third and behind Haslam and O'Halloran. This is the big one.
Yeah. No, he had hold of that. That won't worry him unduly. You see his backside move off. He lifted the weight off the seat straight away as soon as it started happening. So when it kicked, it didn't actually throw him up in the air and give him a bigger problem.
This is the other man that's causing a few raised eyebrows, I reckon. Jason O'Halloran is really on it. This is, of course, a man from Wollongong. We saw Troy Corser interviewed earlier in the afternoon before we got stuck into this these sessions of SuperPole and qualifying. He's another. Many men have come from Wollongong.
Yeah. Peter Goddard, Wayne Gardner, 500 world champ. They're good, produce a lot as Wollongong.
And O'Halloran decides that second place is good enough, and I'm sure that Javier Beltran and the boys will agree. Neil Tuxford, of course, is not with us. He's at the Le Mans 24-hour World Endurance Race, man-handling the three-man team there for Honda Racing. So Leon Haslam is going to take pole position in his return to British Superbikes. Hang on, we're just checking out what's happened with Michael Laverty. Laverty's still out on track on the second of the Tyco BMW. He's currently 7th. 2-minute 6.4. So right now the top 7 are separated by 9/10 of a second. The only one outside that second is James Rispoldi, but nonetheless 8th place.
Still impressive.
So Michael Laverty is the one potential fly in the ointment here. Can the experienced Michael Laverty made his return from 2 years in MotoGP last season and took the best part of the year to get the Tyco BMW up to scratch. He said the remarkable thing was when he finally persuaded Philip and Hector Neal to indulge him in a new rear swinging arm, it immediately improved the feel he had from the front of the bike, which had been his problem up until that time.
The strange thing about that, they got the works factory swing arm, and Tommy Bridewell didn't like it as much.
And he goes 6th, so that's a precious leap up onto the second row of the grid.
Yep.
It's just a nudge past Hopkins. So Laverty goes 6th, which means he will join Shaky Byrne and Luke Mossey on the second row of the grid. So Tyco BMW will have machines on the first and second rows of the grid.
Hopkins still out there. There he is, but I don't think it's a particularly quick lap. I think he's going to be starting from 7th, 3rd row.
And Hopper, remember that Hopper's actually been on pole position for a World Superbike race here as a wild card in his Suzuki days in 2011 when he missed the championship by a whisker. So he knows that wherever he is on the grid, he's going to be in quite a good position for the race tomorrow. The 2 races tomorrow on the E-Pay Me Yamaha. How curious, what is it strange the way life turns out that he and Tommy Hill, having fought for the championship to the absolute resolute end in 2011, are now working as team owner and team rider this year. So Hopper stays in, he shakes his head and stays in 7th place. So it's been Leon Haslam, what a way to come back. He's announced himself on the JG Speedfit Kawasaki, the young man who is 32 years old now from Smalley in Derbyshire. has announced his return in no uncertain terms. Well, James, you and James Hayden were talking about him being a potential champion. He's proving that straight away. But
Yeah,
what about this?
He's got to be pleased. Yeah, O'Halloran has to be pleased with that. Second position, front row. Yeah, they're chuffed. Look at them, look.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, Javier's obviously putting Dan Linfoot's sourness to the back of that, and there we are. I think he's potentially possibly going to become James Westmoreland's brother-in-law, isn't he? That's the way that things seem to be shaping up at the moment. Leon Haslam, JG Speedfit Kawasaki, pole position ahead of Jason O'Halloran and Christian Idden. Shaky Byrne, B. Weiser Ducati, 4-time champ, heads up row 2 from Luke Mossey and Michael Laverty. And the third row will have John Hopkins, James Rispoli and the unmentioned Dan Linfoot. Pretty impressive. Yeah, we were talking about Wollongong, and it's a great output of riders. It's actually in New South Wales, about 50 miles south of Sydney, on that kind of narrow Pacific coastal strip alongside Mount Keira, and it's affectionately known as the Gong.
An absolutely beautiful place. I've been there a few times. I went to my teammate at the time, Peter Goddard's flat in a big complex overlooking the sea, the waves crashing in. Beautiful place.
But it has got a long history of coal mining and steel industry.
Just inland.
Yeah, and when I talked to Jason O'Halloran's dad, actually, when he was over here watching his son a couple of years ago, I said, what's in the air at Wollongong? And then he said, it's not so much what's in the air, it's what's in the ground.
Yeah, Peter Goddard's dad worked as the mine engineer, looking after all the machines about 25 miles inland from Wollongong.
Well, it's full of surfing beaches, and actually Wollongong, it means originally sound of the sea in the local Aboriginal language.
There you go.
So Christian Idden, he's going to be fairly pleased with that then. Tyco BMW, he's put that on the front row of the grid behind Haslam and O'Halloran. So we'll have Kawasaki, Honda and BMW on the front row of the grid with this little guy, the stocky trials mad Leon Haslam, all 150 pounds and 5'6" of him, ready to go from pole position. A man who's such a massive Manchester United fan that his sporting hero from any other sport is Eric Cantona from way back in Manchester United's history.
I got sat next to Eric Cantona at an invited match up there. He's a big chunky lad. You won't want to have a flipping wrestle with him, I'll tell you.
I'm impressed. I never knew you'd sat beside Eric Cantona.
I got free tickets. They were good ones.
Third place for tomorrow's race one, then Christian Idden. Just getting his stuff together. Christian, well done. New bike, new team for this season, and job done, I guess, for round one so far.
Yeah, really, really happy. Everything's been really good, so a little bit disappointed actually with that last run. I felt there was a bit more, but it's always easy to say that afterwards. But no, I'm enjoying riding the bike. I'm enjoying being with the Tyco BMW team, and just loving riding my bike. So I'm relaxed, enjoying it, and see what tomorrow brings.
Look forward to that. Thanks, Christian. Well done.
Cheers, thank you.
And second place then on the grid 4 race one tomorrow, Jason O'Halloran. Jason, well done. Congratulations. You must be so happy with that after the injury problems that you had in the second half of last season to come back so strong.
Yeah, you know, it's it feels like so long ago, Thruxton now, you know. We felt like last year we were just getting going, and then I got put out with injury, and you know, the rehab, the training, everything we've been putting in to get back to fitness has been a long haul, and you know, to end up here is fantastic. I feel unbelievable on the bike. The Honda Racing team's done a great job this year, and you know, I think we'll be strong tomorrow.
Cheers, Jason. See you tomorrow.
Thank you. Cheers.
And pole position for the opening round of the 2016 season on his return to British Superbikes. Leon, I guess that's you announcing your return to BSB.
Yeah, well, it looks that way. It's not been an easy weekend, you know. It's been dodgy conditions, wet, dry, and no one's really kind of put one up there. And I think that's the first time I've been in the top 8 all weekend, so it shows how competitive it is. But big relief, you know. I was kind of nervous going into that one, so nice to get it out of the way.
Cheers, Leon. Good to have you back. Well done.
Guys.
So Leon Haslam will start from pole position in tomorrow's Superbike race, though, but it's another Kawasaki man in the Supersport class and